Have you heard anything about the horsemen of the apocalypse? The four horsemen are frightening and terrifying to many people. The origin of these characters is biblical. They are cited in the prophetic vision of John in the biblical book of the Apocalypse. Today we will tell you more about the story of these knights and the symbolism of each. The four horsemen of the apocalypse are part of an end-time prophecy. They represent prophesied events to take place before the end of the world. There are many different interpretations of the fulfillment of the prophecy of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. In John's vision, described in Revelation 6, Jesus has a special book in his hand, sealed with 7 seals. When he opens each seal, one thing happens on earth. The first 4 seals send the four horsemen to earth. First night. The first knight appears riding a white horse, wielding a bow. He has a crown on his head, ready to be a winner. The crown is a symbol of victory and power. The bow was a long-range weapon, which probably means that the knight's influence will have great range. Some people suggest that the first rider is Jesus, because he is a victor and comes riding a white horse, as in Revelation 19 verse 11. Others think it is the Antichrist, who will exalt himself as a god and have great power over the world. Second night. When the second seal is opened, a knight appears with a large sword mounted on a red horse. He has the power to take peace and make people kill each other. The sword and the red color represent the bloody death and armed struggle. The second knight seems to be a representation of war. Jesus warned that in recent times there would be wars and rumors of wars. Third night. The third knight rides the black horse and has a scale in his hand. When he appears, a voice tells the price of food at that time. The prices for food are very high, which means that the food will be very expensive. The scale represents buying and selling. The third night is usually interpreted as hunger. At such high prices, ordinary people would have difficulty feeding their families. It could also represent an economic crisis. Fourth night. The fourth horse is yellow. His knight is called Death, and Hades follows him closely. The yellowish of the horse is usually associated with death because it looks like the color of a corpse. The fourth night is the only one the Bible says exactly what it is: death. The last night, or the 4 nights together, depending on how we interpret the text, has the power to kill a quarter of the earth. We don't know when the 4 horsemen will show up. Some think they have already appeared or are appearing throughout history until the end culminates. Others think they will still appear, only at the end. But it is a truth that only God knows. In this sense, we must have humility to accept that there are complex interpretations and some mysteries concerning the end times. It is not for us to try to determine events or to make defined and closed treaties. Even so, there is much speculation, as there are some apocalyptic figures that can be interpreted in different ways. But, in general, we need to take into account the apocalyptic genre of the book, and that thus, its symbols must be understood from this literary style. As to what is not clearly explained by the biblical context, we must be very cautious and discerning in trying to interpret it. The most important thing to know is that the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse come to bring judgment upon the world because of sin. One day we will all face God's judgment. So answer this question. If the judgment were today, would you be safe? That was today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications so you will always be warned when some new video comes out.